Weeks ago, you said that you guys lived out, you moved into town. Did you live out on a farm then? What?
Oh, when I was a little girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived on a farm by Janesville on J. We call it the old stone house.
It's still there,
Yeah,
been fixed up.
it was nothing wrong with it.
Well, I know, but it was still rich. It was made nicer. It was just an old house when you were there, and now they fixed it up nice. There was an article about it in the paper.
Was that a long time ago?
If you drive to Janesville and you go down J, you'll see it
And to get to J, you just go,
off of 14.
you go off of, you get off of the interstate on the 11 exit, and you go left there, and if J is just the next stoplight, I think, to the east. And you can just go down there. I think it's only a couple miles down J there from that exit, the Palmer Park exit. That's where we usually get off to go to Sharon. If you get off on that one, well, the traffic light to the east is J.
J. You called it this old stone house?
Yeah, because it was mostly stone. And, like you said, it was old. We did not have a bathroom. We took baths in a big metal tub out on the porch, and we had an outhouse. Although I don't really remember, we must have had an inside potty where chamber
White
pot.
Okay.
So.
And a commode.
Anyway, we did not have a bath tub except for that metal tub.
In the winter, did you just not take baths, or did you take it out on the porch?
In the kitchen.
I think we brought it into the kitchen then.
And Dad was the last one to get a bath. Everybody else had the bath first, and then Dad got to take one.
You don't know. You weren't at my house.
I was at my house, and we didn't have a bathroom either, or in a tub.
Isn't that kind of backwards from the way it usually was? Where the father took the bath first, and then everybody else, and then the last one was the baby. That's why the saying, "Don't throw the baby out with the bath water," come about.
Yeah, but I suppose I figured let's put the cleanest ones in first. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, you wash the kids and send them to bed, and then Mom can take a bath, and Dad can get in the dirty water that's not quite warm. And he can wash them.
Is that the house where you had the article where it was in shambles and then they built it back, they remodeled it? That was many years ago?
Yes, I think so. Because I think it was empty quite a long time.
Yeah, it had a humongous yard, and it had a barn. I think the barn's still there. Because we had one or two cows that we milked.
Oh, really?
Well, I didn't, of course. I was too little, but then we had lots of cats. I don't remember a whole lot about the house except that you went through this porch into the kitchen, and there was one room off the kitchen that we used as a bedroom, I think, for the boys. And there was a living room, and I can't really remember where the stairs actually were, and then there was an upstairs. And I know there was the big room where I fell out the window. It was like a hallway, but it was a room hallway. And I'm not sure if there must have been 2 bedrooms up there, I'm thinking. So maybe like Jim and Dick slept in the one downstairs, and Leo and Al slept in the one upstairs, and Marie and Annie and I all slept in the other one. Or was I don't know. Or maybe the bedroom off the kitchen was what Mom and Dad had. You know, I was only 5 when we left, so I don't remember tons.
Right, no, gosh, no. That's why I don't remember. I don't remember our house a lot, the one in Sharon. I think I do, but
Right. Yeah, well, we were only 3, I think. When we
No.
left. No,
No,
I was
5.
5.
I was in kindergarten. Yeah.
5. Yeah. So there's, yeah. Well, I can remember the Sharon house, but that's because I was old. But
I think
Just 5.
when we moved to Sharon, I don't think it had a bathroom
Nope.
either, and we put the bathroom in.
Oh,
And we had an outhouse for a long time, but mostly we tore it down, I think, finally.
so
And
then,
we didn't use it, of course, after we had the bathroom.
so that was right around 1950 then.
53, something like
We
that.
moved to Sharon in 52.
In 53, they put in a sewer system in the town.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
probably we couldn't put in a bathroom before then.
Nope, nope.
So
Yeah.
we must have used the outhouse for a while.
And why did you guys move? Do you know? Did your dad take a
Yeah,
job?
52. Yeah, 1952. But Dad was already working at Fairbanks Morris. He had already for some time. I don't know when he actually started there. Because when they first came up from Kentucky, he was a farmhand. He worked on one of the neighbors' farms. And I think Uncle Dick told him, why don't you go to Fairbanks Morris and see if they need some help? And they
So what-
obviously did,
so what-
and he worked there ever since.
So what did he do at Fairbanks Morse?
Well, I know he went like 3 o'clock in the morning, because when we used to have to go and when we wanted to go and stay at Aunt Mary's or Aunt Reen's, we usually Aunt Mary's because that was on the way to Fairbanks, and it would be like 3:30 in the morning. Knock, knock. Aunt Mary, I'm here. You know. And then we would go up to one of their beds and sleep till normal. And I know before he quit, he would do they were great big furnaces along on the walls, and he'd start them going in the morning.
So
So he
that was
must have-
Beloit. Fairbanks Morris was in Beloit.
Yeah. Yep.
So he must
Up a
have been part
big
of the
plant.
must have been a foundry, huh?
Well, they made train parts, didn't they? Or
Well, Fairbanks Morris used to make gigantic motors for factories and stuff. Big, big industrial.
Made a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a huge facility that they had there.
yeah, it went on
A
for
couple
blocks and
blocks. It was a couple blocks big.
Oh, really? It says originally a weighing scale manufacturer, it diversified into pumps, engines, windmills, coffee grinders, radios, farm tractors, feed mills, locomotives. And
right about trains.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was. They definitely did some foundry work there. I know that, and Fairbanks Morse was a little bit like Alice Chalmers, where they would, if you were looking for somebody to build something, they would build it.
Mm.
Scales.
Yeah.
Tom said scales too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I know I was in there more than once, but I don't remember. But I do remember these big. Of course, as a little kid, I probably thought it was lots. It probably wasn't as big as what I thought it was, but it seemed to me it was like a firewall or something. And he'd start the fires, and that was just one of them. And he'd go around and light them all up. You know.
That's good. I learned something today. I didn't know that your father worked for Fairbanks Morse.
Oh, he did it there for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Well,
that's-
headquarters. You
Well, that's
got the information there, Tom.
their headquarters.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at Vermont.
Wow.
In Wisconsin, a former missionary named Leonard Wheeler designed a durable windmill for pumping water. Wheeler set up a shop in Beloit just after the Civil War. Soon 500,000 windmills dotted the landscape through the west as far as Australia. A Fairbanks Company employee, Charles Hosmer Morse, opened a Fairbanks office in Chicago. Okay. Pumps into business. So then it was, Z engines. And then it was post-war products, pump and engine division, branded for farms, factories, and mines.
Makes sense it would start in Vermont with the industrialization of the United States kind of started on the East Coast there. So makes sense that it would start in Vermont and be moved across the country.
Yeah, you're right.
Interesting, it ended up in Beloit, actually.
They probably took over that plant that made the windmills and expanded from there probably.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
I
little bit.
worked at Admiral for a year or two.
So did you, Lou?
Yeah, I worked at Admiral for a summer and I said, I ain't in the hell ever gonna work in a factory again in my life. I'm going to school.
Doing
On to school.
compartments, radios, what were you doing?
Admiral, they made TVs,
Oh.
Admiral TVs.
Radios to start with.
My mom, I think, only probably worked there like a year, maybe two. And then she just mostly always just did babysitting.
And where was that Admiral plant at?
Oh, the W word.
Oh, Admiral?
Sure.
Oh, Highway 14 South.
Harvard.
In Harvard, yeah, Harvard, for Highway 14 South, there was a traffic signal at the foot of the overhead bridge down there, and to the northeast corner is where the plant was. I believe either there or on the other side of the street there.
I was on the left side as you went into town.
From
From Highway 14.
from Sharon. Yeah.
And then you worked there during the summer, right? I mean, you didn't like.
Yeah, one summer, and believe you me, that was enough after getting burnt by solder and being always behind as these parts of TVs kept coming at you. And you're like, oh.
Marie worked there too.
Yeah, Marie, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Jim and Dick worked there, but I can't remember. I don't think so, but I do know I did, and that was enough.
Well, Jim and
So the next summer I worked as a maid at the Abbey, and that was lots better because boy, there was good looking guys that came over from, I don't know where they came from, but oh, good looking they were. But of course, we were only 16 and they probably were in their 20s, so it's not like we'd really date them, but
At the Abbey?
work with them. Huh?
And this is at the Abbey?
Yeah, the Abbey.
Like
And then the next year I went to nursing school, so I know we had the summer off. I don't know if I worked at the Abbey again or I worked somewhere during the summer.
Yeah.
And of course, there's your summers of detasseling corn.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. That was another thing I'd never do again in my life. It was not fun.
Greasy seed corn by Janesville.
You did that with Anne Marie as well, right?
I don't think I did it at the same time as her because she's 6 years older than me. So, but she's probably the reason I did it. She had done it, so I probably, okay. I need money for school, so.
Wow.
And school, I think, was only like 300 some dollars a year, but you know, it was still a lot. And
Mhm.
mom and dad didn't have it, so
So did you earn it all or did you have to take out loans and stuff?
no, I didn't take out any loans. So I must have just paid for it.
It's a lot cheaper then.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, back when you could work a part-time job and pay for your schooling.
Well, I didn't work during the school year because we had to work at the hospital a lot. We were their staff a lot of times.
Yeah,
Did you get paid by the hospital?
Don't think we did. It was part of our training.
No.
And that was Mercy Medical Center in Janesville.
Yeah. Well, it was Mercy Hospital then, but
Oh. And the school, where was the school? The school was in Janesville?
it was right next door to the hospital, just like in Marshfield here.
Hmm.
That building that's up was a school of nursing. Well, still kind of a school of nursing because the Eau Claire students, they have their classes and stuff in that building yet, I think.
I thought they tore the building down.
No, it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was right next door. So, and we had a tunnel we can go good, which we usually use, that we went through from the dorm to the hospital.
Was the dorm connected? Was it right connected with school?
Yeah. I mean, the dorm was the school too. We had classes in the basement of our dorm. And we probably had a few classes maybe over in the hospital too. It's kind of hard to remember where
Right.
exactly.
How many people would you say were going to school, were in the school at a time?
Well, we started out with either 33 or 36, but we ended up with 12.
Wow.
I think we were one of the smallest classes, just that ended up because we had these dumb people who quit because it was too hard. Others quit because anyway, I would say most of the classes probably were around 20.
Oh.
And there's 3 classes, a freshman, a junior, and a senior. We didn't have a sophomore class. So.
But sometimes they probably did, right? Or
What?
well, why didn't they have a sophomore class? Or just wasn't everybody dropped out?
I guess because it's a 3-year program.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking we didn't have I don't think we just went in. We were freshmen and sophomores. I think we just didn't have a sophomore class. God, I'd have to look that up, I guess.
We're freshmen, we're juniors.
Yes.
Years.
But I could be wrong about that.
Well, why did you decide to go into nursing?
She didn't want to work in the factory.
Oh,
Yeah, I did. Hi, Benjamin.
Oh, Ben, family.
No, I actually really wanted to be a nurse probably most of my life.
Her namesake. Your name. You are a namesake of Aunt Lou, who was a nurse, wasn't you?
Yeah.
So her family, Haberlin family, was nurses.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to go in the Peace Corps, but I guess I got accepted at school, so the Peace Corps went out the door. And I never regretted that. I mean, although I think it would have been good experience.
Yeah. Right, but yeah, you were helping people anyway.
Right, right.
So, and then when you were you a freshman, and then you started dating Dad?
I'm thinking so because I think that I was still in high school. And Elaine and I were friends. We were friends, and Tom came to pick her up from school. And so he gave me a ride home too. And then I think we started going out.
I think we'll have to ask Dad, which I thought it was Milwaukee, but we'll have to
Oh, the first date we had, we went to Milwaukee to see Louis Prima, and we had car trouble on the way home, and it was like 5:30 in the morning when I
Yeah.
got home from the.
Did he run out of gas, did he?
I don't think we ran out of gas or if it was a car problem. I can't remember, but I do know. What did we have? Did we run out of gas or did we,
What's that?
our very first date?
Yeah, well, we went to McGuanago and saw
Louis Prima.
Louis Prima, who was a nationally known band, but he had got a new girl singer. They were fantastic. But on the way home, that 62 Ford had a generator, not an alternator, and the generator stopped working. So I stopped at a gas station to have the battery charged up after we drove a little bit. And I was worried about making it home, and it took quite a while for that battery charger to charge the battery up, and so we sat there in the car, Joan.
No, Elaine.
Elaine, you and me. Yeah, that's right. Elaine, you and me. We sat in the car while the battery charged. And then we drove home, and I dropped her off at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
So.
And my dad came out with a razor strap and whipped him to death. No, I'm lying.
No, nobody said anything, but so I kept her out till 5:30 in the morning on the first date. And,
Oh my goodness.
but the thing is, I didn't know this. What, an hour and a half later, you went to Milwaukee on a Phil's? Yeah, the same day that I took you back.
Well, we were.
I was sure you told me that. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. They took her into Milwaukee to Children's Hospital to start 3 months of Phil's.
From that date, or that was later, but.
Well, I was sure it was that day. But, well, maybe it wasn't, but that's what I think you told me.
So then Mom had to work in Milwaukee for 3 months? I don't know what Phil's are.
3 months.
Well, they call it Phil's. Affiliations. One was at Mendota for 3 months and one was in Milwaukee Children's for 3 months.
17th Street and something.
Okay, because I remember you, Dad, telling me a story about going to visit Mom in Milwaukee. For a second there, I thought you were lying, and driving back and just saying that was such a nice drive to look up at the stars, having went and gone.
Oh, that was Madison. That was, yeah, that was quite a drive home. That was Madison.
So go ahead and tell it. Go ahead. Well, go ahead and tell that story, please.
Well, it was a Saturday, I think, and we spent the day together, and it was after dark, 10 o'clock at night or something like that when I left Mendota, and it was in the fall, but it was a nice day. It was a clear moonlit night with a full moon, and I had her black scarf around the mirror, put the top down with the windows up, and drove home down the interstate. That was a memorable drive home down the interstate.
So the drive was memorable, not the date.
It was the whole thing was
No, just the drive. Well, believe me, Mendota was an interesting place. That's how I learned what a narcissist Trumpy boy is and how mentally ill he is now. But we did have one patient who they'd have group sessions, and he was this guy, and he would babble on and on and on. He would, now can I think of the word he would use all the time? It was like 20, I mean, he just rambled on, and I can't think what it is.
Lucy, come goose me.
Oh, no, that's that dumb shit. Anyway, he ended up drowning in Lake Mendota when we were still there, so it was pretty sad.
They had family day at the end of your 3 months at Mendota, and Mom and Dad and I came up and we toured the facility with her.
Oh,
That's when this crappy patient comes up and says, "Oh, Lucy, come goose me." And of course, I was so
She was sitting in a chair somewhere.
I was so embarrassed. that- no, I wouldn't bother me in the least. I'd say, "Okay."
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a very mosquito-y place.
So, was housing given to you when you did those? Like, did you stay in dorms?
Dorms. Yeah, we stayed in dorms. Both Milwaukee Children's and Mendota. They were right on the right by. I think we had a tunnel over to the hospital at Milwaukee Children's too. I don't think we did at Mendota, but it was still a big complex in the same place. Different buildings house different kinds of patients. And
It was
Winnebago.
a
So did-
memorable drive home from Milwaukee,
Like
too.
that.
Did you like have a roommate? And so were you there with kids? Were you still in school, or would you graduated when you did that?
no, we were still in school, and
Was part of
they
school.
roomed us with someone from Mercy, like Kathy Malo was my roommate at Milwaukee Children's. I'm pretty sure, and I can't remember at Mendota because I'm not sure she was with me. That we weren't necessarily all on the fields at the same time. But yeah, no, they would room us with somebody from our own school. Which I still have a friend, Ann, who lives in Milwaukee, and she's on Facebook with me every now and then. She'll put something on. And we used to write all the time, but now we just once in a while see each other on Facebook. But yeah, it was interesting, believe you
I
me.
think it's a lot different now. I don't think you go get sent to different hospitals to work at and stuff while you're still in school. At least around here.
You have clinical.
I don't think so either.
You have clinicals, you get someplace.
You get some places. We have nurses in Winnebago, or student nurses that periodically.
Yeah, see,
We have trainers that from UW Oshkosh that come and supervise them, and then they make the rounds. So sometimes we'll get assigned a patient, and they'll meet with them and stuff like that.
yeah, they probably still do around La Crosse too, except that some of theirs might be within the healthcare system of or Turbo, but they may end up there's different areas like at the two hospitals, and one is probably a mentally ill section, and another is this section, orthopedics, and another one,
It's 4 years now, too, so now.
well, right, and they don't have as much clinical as we did. I mean, ours was mostly all clinical, and now,
I guess that's more what I meant. It sounds like more of your training was hands-on.
yeah, oh, definitely.
Well, yeah,
That's why
that was back in the day where you just had to apply the leeches and work with the rubber.
Well, at nighttime, suddenly we were the only nurses, and we were students. It's like, it's a wonder that more patients didn't die. Well, I mean, there must have been a supervisor we could call if there was some kind of problem, but And at nighttime, I guess I figured patients are mostly sleeping, but
And I don't think you gave meds, do you? Did you,
oh yeah, we gave meds, but
at night?
well, probably, but they probably schedule most of the meds for daytime.
Yeah, the evening.
I can't remember a whole lot other than that I was so afraid of OB that I knew we had a janitor's closet right near the desk area, so the nurse was in charge of us in OB at the hospital, and she would just point, you and you and you go back to labor and delivery. So I would hide in that closet because I was petrified of labor and delivery. And so I would hide in that closet most of the time, and then I didn't have to go back there. And then I ended up in OB for 41 years.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah, what changed your mind about being afraid of
That's
it?
amazing.
Well, I guess just I found that it was really interesting, and it was also fun, and mostly it was happy. Times, people having a new baby, and I found that I could even deliver a baby fairly easily. I don't know. I guess I found out it wasn't as scary as what I thought it was when I was a student.
I remember your training in with the doctors and getting experience and learning what to do in the birth center there. I remember that in you telling about different things, and I think it was kind of stressful for you to learn about all that too, though.
Well, it probably was, but once you did it, then things got easier all the time.
Well, yeah, but
And nowadays, the doctor actually has the new nurses deliver a baby or two with them. But in my day, they didn't do that, but we'd end up delivering a baby or two, or 3 or 4.
I was listening when you told me those things.
Oh, did you work at the OB at Mercy in Janesville?
I did, but not for real long. That was the first. I worked peds. I did work at Mercy, Janesville too, for a while.
3 months?
I think it was longer than that. I think when I got pregnant with you, I decided I did not want to drive to Janesville in the winter, so I quit. But then I decided I'd maybe try Beloit. So I went to Beloit Hospital and worked in OB. And then on the way home one wintry day, I slid in the ditch, and that was enough. I couldn't go back. I was too petrified. I'm still petrified of driving.
What was the car's fault?
Yeah.
How did you get out of the ditch? Maybe you don't remember.
A farmer pulled me out, didn't he, with his tractor? Well, I think you came.
Into Sharon, but not to the farm. I didn't go out to the road where you were in the ditch.
I think,
You drove
I
the
know a
rest of the way
farmer pulled me out. That's the part I remember. And maybe I just drove home then, even slower.
You drove to Sharon
So,
Whatever.
to your mom and dad's, and then I came in there. The way I
you
remember.
told me a couple weeks ago that that you were you came to Marshfield, and then you needed a job, and you got a job at a nursing home, right? Like they said you could start right away, but then the job opened up in the OB at St. Joe's. So
Well, yeah, see, I asked our neighbors, which were Mellentines, if she knew where I probably could get a job. And she said, well, the hospital or the nursing homes always need help, like Colonial House in Kobe. And so I called the hospital, and they said they didn't need anybody. They had no openings. And so I called the Colonial House in Kobe, and they said, when can you start? And I said, whenever. And they said, tonight? I said, okay. So I started working that night, and it was like maybe a week and a half later, the hospital called, and they said, well, we do have this opening in OB if you'd like to come in and interview. Well, at that time, the hospital paid a whole $1 more an hour, and they had health insurance, and we didn't have any health insurance, but I had you, Mark, Tom, and Steve. And I thought, ooh, yeah, let's go see about that. So I interviewed with Mrs. Borgeman, and she told me I could have the job. So I had to call Colonial House. I said, I'm sorry, but I am starting at the hospital. And I felt really bad because they needed a lot of help then. They still do most of the time, but.
And she was experienced in taking care of old people, working at Willowfield for, how long did you work at Willowfield in Delavan?
No.
4 or 5 years?
No, not
3?
that long.
2, 3, huh?
Couple years maybe.
Seems like it was a long time, but
So I didn't really need training in Colby because I had worked at Willowfield in Delavan before we moved up to Marshfield or to Spencer.
You worked in Janesville, then Beloit, and then at that
Mhm.
nursing home?
And then at Delavan, yep, and then in Marshfield, or Colby and then Marshfield.
So then if St. Joe's were to call and said, we need a nurse in geriatrics, you might not.
I'm sure I would have went and applied. I'm glad it was OB. And I mean, I can say I did really love the whole 41 years most of the time, except for a couple of doctors.
the nursing home was a hard thing for her, though. They'd get attached to those old people and they would pass away, and then they would feel bad for a week or more.
Well, it was worse when a mother lost her baby, so
Yes, that didn't happen often.
no.
Just think how bad your body would be though if you would have stayed with taking care of the elderly and trying to push and pull and
The lifting is what causes injuries. Transfer.
yeah,
I'm already in bad shape.
right. But you'd be even worse. Your shoulders would be worse and your back would be worse. And
Did you start the TLC there, or did you just take it over?
I just took it over, but I had gone to TLC training in La Crosse with 2 or 3 other people. And so I was kind of like on the committee of TLC, but I wasn't running it at all. And then the people who had been running it, one went over to the clinic. I think 2 went over to the clinic, 1 left. I don't know, but suddenly there was nobody in charge of TLC, so I said I would do it. And then I turned it into even better than what we had.
Actually kind of special. Lucky I was that I was able to attend the Florence Nightingale Award that you got. That only very, 2 or 3 nurses a year get from the state of Wisconsin, because it was held here in Oshkosh.
Yeah.
That was pretty
I
amazing.
know I was dusting it off the other day, my
Where is it?
thing. It's on our dresser, my dresser, on one of those little shelves.
That's good.
Yeah, that was probably one of the highlights of all of my years in OB, was getting that award, because it really is special. But which one of my patients actually is the one who nominated me, and she had lost a baby, and she never did get pregnant again, but she ended up adopting a couple of kids, not as babies. They were like maybe 5 and 8 or something like that. And she does live over by Oshkosh now. But Heather, I can only think of Heather.